Live in front of a home studio audience, your host, Get Peter Glass. Way, way, yippee, yippee. Well, hello, everybody. I'm back. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Put simply, I'm going to close the photo of the day, too. I'm here with lunch, and I'm hangry, and I'm hungry, and I'm starving, and I need to eat. Starting a bit early. That's all right, I'm hungry now. I'll preface everything by first. Well, I won't explain what we're doing yet. I'll only hope that everything is working, and I hope people will join my chat to tell me that things are working. They're not obligated to. For the time being, we'll just wait and do stuff. Hello, FE3. It's working? Can you hear me? Can you see everything? Can you see the photo du jour? This is from Ottawa, or Anime Ottawa. It's the second time this convention has been held. It's an offshoot of the Comic Con in Ottawa. This is one of those 40,000 people. Warhammer 40,000, I guess they call it. I saw this guy, took a photo of him. It's a little bit overexposed in my mind, but that's okay. I haven't edited this also. That's another thing. I was talking to some people before. When it comes to the photo du jour, I do not edit them. Not that I'm like for or against editing. I love editing. It's just that, what's it called? For these, I want to just show exactly what's coming out of camera, what I'm seeing. Before, maybe I do edit them. Maybe I double exposure, huh? One where it's not edited, one where it is edited. So, that could be cool. Anyways, 2 minutes. We will have reached the peak. I can't read that. Oh, it's a rack. Thanks for the follow, rack. It's so small. I need to open up Stream Elements to make sure I can actually see what's going on here. Tummy hurts. What was I talking about before I got distracted? I don't know. I'm still waking up. I woke up at 9 or so. And I haven't drank any coffee or anything like that. I haven't prepared any meal. I'm hungry. I still haven't eaten anything. So this is literally the first meal of my day. I have the whole setup set up. This is god awful nasty. Yeah, no. That one guy named Handsome Fella. I do not know any handsome fellows, except that I am one. Ayo. Alright. So, let me get this off the screen. Don't need that there. It is now 12 o'clock. As per my Casio watch. What was I going to start with? I forget what I was going to talk about. Obviously, I'm here with the MRE Menu 23 pizza slice. Pepperoni. I've had pizza slice before, but it was the vegetarian option. That is to say, the cheese pizza slice. Vegetarian in the context. I'm not showing you feet at all. MRTE. Oh, jeez. I'm not going to show you any feet. I am not wearing socks right now. That is, against Twitch terms of service. But we'll start with a little history lesson. Very, very little history lesson. I'll try to be quick about this. Let's see if I can figure out this. Boom. These are the predecessors of the MRE. On the left, we have the Ration Type K, or K Ration. In the middle, once you see it, we have the MCI, or Meal Combat Individual. And then on the right, we have the 1980s sort of prototype brown bag MRE, the start of it all. I have some props in hand as well for your viewing pleasure, but we'll go briefly to this. The K Ration was essentially the World War II version of the meal. It came in cans and little baggies and little things of biscuits. I think usually you had like the B component, the A component, the B component, and then like a little packet, the accessory package, which had your cigarettes, your napkins, your spoon, your, coffee, etc. Oh, I should probably make an announcement. Boom. That should be it. Bring back cigarettes. That, unironically, if they had cigarettes in here, I would smoke them right here. Get evicted from my apartment. It'd be so peak. So peak. Yes, sir. Go to my channel dashboard. Make sure I have everything set up. But yeah, so they were heavy. They used to look like big, boring brown boxes. And then they added all these beautiful little art pieces, these designs on the box itself to make it more morale boosting, more joyous. I was talking earlier, I probably won't bring this up again, but breakfast, dinner, and supper, you'll notice these are labeled as. Dinner, perhaps not to be confused with lunch per se. This is something I want to investigate. I feel like at some point in the U.S. history, they used to have a system of breakfast, dinner, and supper instead of like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then something about that changed. And I think that is exemplified. That fact of change is shown through these menus. Breakfast, dinner, supper. Not like what they used to be called. So, who knows? Next, here's the MCI. You can kind of get an idea of what's inside of those boxes. Both the old K ration and these current C rations. Lots of little tins, lots of little packets. Very cute, very fun. Prone to bursting at this point if it hasn't developed botulism yet. They will. And remember, if air seeps in, I think, don't quote me on this. I might be wrong. I'll need to check this. If you open up a can and air seeps in, that's a good thing. That means it's been vacuum sealed perfectly. If you open a can and air bursts out, that means something was growing, something was fermenting, something is rotten, spoiled, and will hurt you. Who's texting me? Where's my phone? What's going on here? It's my cousin. That's all right. Happy Pride Month. So, don't eat bursting cans. Eventually they realized this was way too heavy. All these cans and all these pieces of cardboard were too much. So they tried to go to the brown bag. Early forms of the brown bag MRE were a lot of, freeze-dried meals. You'd have to boil and add water to reconstitute whatever the food stuff was. These were very difficult to eat in the field. They took a lot of time. Very unideal. It was an okay way of preserving food, but it was not, good enough. So eventually they swapped to what we have today in the meal, ready to eat. So, enough about the history. I'm sure there'll be more to talk about if I ever stream this kind of thing again. But for now, we'll talk about this particular dinner, or this meal. This is, of course, the Menu 23 pizza slice pepperoni. Dated, if you can tell, you probably can't see it, 3230. What does that mean? Well, that's the date code. The first three, this is a 4-digit date code. First three indicates the last number of the year, 2023. The next three numbers indicate the date. So it's packaged on the 230th day of 2023. The Canadians, where's my... They don't actually have a date code on this, but the Canadian IMP uses a 5-letter or 5-numeral date code, which uses the last 2 letters of the year. A lot easier to understand. With these US MREs, you kind of have to be in the know when it comes to figuring out what date things were manufactured on. For example, this is well, it's unlabeled, but I believe this is like a 2018 or 2019. You know, before this is what MREs used to be packaged in. Actually, I have. This is how MREs used to look like in these plastic bags. They still stuck to the morale iconography. Menu numbers on the side. This is pork sausage patty, maple flavored. This one will be interesting to try. So, who knows? But yeah, there's the date code stamped in. You can kind of just see it's 3229. That's 17 August 2023. Today, MREs look like this. They've kind of got a clear back packaging. They've retained the sort of brown front, but you can kind of see what's inside of them now. And they take up a lot less space, a lot less room. How long do they last? They're designed to last at least 3 years. So, you know, if they got to be shelf stable at like 50 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 3 years. They go through a lot of different sort of tests to ensure that the meals and the food within can kind of keep their ideal sort of state for as long as possible. I'm going to drink some water. This is a lot of talking. They like put them in like hot rooms to simulate desert climates. They put them in cold rooms to see how they freeze. You can make them last a lot longer if you freeze them. A lot of really old MREs, RCIs, etc. were frozen at some point by people in order to, you know, manage their longevity. But, yeah, so there we go. Let's get to opening it. It's been 12 minutes, and boy, am I starving. I want to retain the front of this package just because it looks cool. So I'm going to cut it open with these scissors on the top. And here we go. Let's pull from it. Start off with the spoon. This iconic MRE spoon. Kind of short, wrapped in plastic. Can't go wrong with it. Beautiful spoon. What if you donated $1,000? Well, I would buy more MREs. And I'd eat them on camera for you. Oh, we have the oatmeal cookie. If you can see that. Oatmeal cookie, 300 calories in this. One cookie. This is a 57-gram cookie, 300 calories. We have apple pieces in spiced sauce. Americol Foods, Evansville, Indiana. 142 grams. You know, see insert for the correct list of ingredients. Move my scissors. Oh, no way. We've got the vegetable crackers. Vegetable crackers. One of the greatest things about these rations, I love these crackers. Vegetable crackers is a bit unique. I've never tried that before, I don't think. I don't know if I'll like it. But the crackers are always like, they're full of shortening to kind of keep them lasting a very long time. They taste delicious. I love them so much. I think that's the star of the show, so I won't grab at that yet. We have, beverage-based lemonade. That'll be fun. Sugar-free. The directions, add to a 20 fluid ounce bottled water and shake gently. So that'll be cool. Put that inside the cup. They make you shorter? No, they don't make me shorter. They make the lifespan longer. No! Oh, we've got a good one right here. Cheese spread with jalapenos. Cheese spread with jalapenos. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, my God. The cheese spread is the reason why I bought these, to be honest. It is disgusting. So many people, would be quick to judge. But I love this cheese spread stuff. And there's 3 kinds. There's cheese spread, pure just cheese spread with jalapenos, which tastes delicious, and then cheese spread with bacon, which is like the worst form and is like disgusting, and I hate it, but I love it at the same time. Delectable, desirable, everything you ever wanted. It tells you to need this. It says, "Thank you for your service," right on the center of them. You know what? Thank you, manufacturer of this cheese spread. I will serve this perfectly. So, dig a little deeper here. This menu has got a lot of stuff so far. Ooh, another big hit. Chocolate hazelnut protein. I hate these, actually. This is a protein drink. Very good if you're exercising. I will not be eating this today. Or if I do, I'll be eating it much later, because I will probably go for a long walk later tonight. And I'll probably need this at that point. Protein is always good if you're exercising. I'm trying to run a little bit more these days. I'm trying to, do a little exercise. But, the chocolate hazelnut protein in particular is... Oh, actually, that reminds me. I made myself a coffee earlier. I did not prepare that coffee at all. I'll need to go back and boil the water. But I'll finish doing this first, and then I'll go do that. But yeah, chocolate hazelnut protein. This stuff tastes god-awful. Do I have pet? Do I have a pet? I do have a pet. But I have it back at home. Not in my university dorm. Sadly. I think we're coming up to our last component. Stuck to the bottom of my... What the hell? Oh, so there's been a mismanufacture here. Oh, don't mind that. The bottom of this meal has been opened already. There's like a little puncture here, and that's because the accessory packet got caught in the packaging of the MRE, and it got chopped off. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a hole here. Fascinating little error in manufacturing. That's pretty cool. It's kind of upsetting for me, though, because that means the accessory packet is literally melted onto the front of the MRE, and I was really kind of hoping to keep the front of the MRE unmolested. There we go. I had to pull it out. Here is the accessory packet. These things have been... No way! We got Bill's Brew! We got Bill's Brew! Okay. Not every accessory packet comes with coffee. The fact this one does is a lifesaver. If anything, that just, tells me that pizza slice pepperoni is one of the greatest rations ever made. We've got 2 pieces of gum, sugar, creamer, toilet paper, and Bill's Brew. Bill's Brew. In the old days, I think during World War I or maybe Korea into Vietnam, they used to come with coffee instant type 2. Thoroughly loved by Steve 1989, my honest to God inspiration. Here we have the cardboard insert for pepperoni pizza slice. Our hot beverage bag. It's a beverage bag that can maintain hot temperatures. This is the flameless ration heater. It is a tool that uses those same sort of heating elements you find in hand warmers and the like. And it burns a little bit warmer, a little hotter, you might say. And it just does a very good job of heating up food if you can get it to work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Be careful. And lastly, but never leastly, we have pepperoni pizza with cheese and sauce. 280 calories, This is my meal. So, as Steve would say, let's get this out onto a tray. I fucked that up. Let's get this out onto a tray. Got the oatmeal cookie, vegetable crackers, the apples and slices. What is this, tongue twister day? Apples in spiced sauce. So, I'm going to leave you with that for now. I'm going to go fix up my coffee, get the water boiling. I'm probably not going to drink the Bill's brew, but I'll have an approximation of it in time for you to see. And, yeah, be right back. Be right back. Let me figure this out. Be right back. Boom. So, I didn't realize how difficult this would be. I'm kind of like having to lean down a little bit in order to really engage with all of this. Kind of difficult, kind of uncomfortable. It's not too bad. I'm realizing I might go and grab some more dinnerware, some like dishes and whatnot. But no, for the time being, we'll kind of engage with this as we can. So, the vegetable crackers I'm going to have with the jalapeno cheese spread. The oatmeal cookie will be on its own. You'll usually notice that MREs kind of have like several different like components. You have the main, which is like, you know, the entree, the thing you're here to eat. You have a vegetable, or not a vegetable. You'll have a vegetable or fruit, some kind of like roughage component, usually like all your sorts of nutrients and whatnot. Be they vegetables, be they fruit. You'll have a candy or a dessert component. In this case, it's the oatmeal cookie. Sometimes it's candy. Sometimes it's like crackers or trail mix, something like that. And then you have your bread component. In this case, it's vegetable crackers. Canadian IMPs tend to have plain hamburger more than anything. So, this is where the difficult part comes in, because I'm not fully coordinated myself. 12-ounce beverage bag. I have all this water right here. What I need to do, you take this cardboard sleeve, open it up. That way it's open. Fold in the bottom, and that gives it some structure. Okay? You take your pizza, as an example, just kind of fold it in so it takes up less room. I'll probably warm up the apples as well. That sounds kind of nice. Some heated up apples. Try to fold this in as well. What you're going to do is you're going to start the ration. You're supposed to put the meal inside of this, but I'm not going to do that. Just fold it in like that. Stuff it into here. Get that cooking. It's going to be wonderful. Very, very sort of difficult when I have this sort of like setup. I'm trying to think right now. I'm going to go get my canteen cup. I'm going to go check my water. Be right back all over again. Ta-da! So I return. Got my canteen cup. I'm going to use that for probably before this cooks. I'm going to make my my juice inside of it. Drink that up. All right. How am I going to do this? Take this. The flameless ration heater. Grab a second thing. Just tear off the top. That should open up the bag for you to fill some water to hit the heating element. Let's see if I can't do this quick. There's a line at the bottom of the heating element that tells you not to overfill it. You don't want too much water, else you'll snuff the flame. So you just need a little bit, just a little bit. Get your pizza. Put it inside with the ration heater. Get your meal. Roll this up. Give it a little shake. That should start heating up soon. Oh, yeah. There you go. You see it expanding? Oh, it's really expanding. Oh, it's really working. So that is hot. That is actually insanely hot. I feel great about queer people. A lot of the friends I know are queer. And it smells too. So I think this is not the sort of thing you actually want to be doing inside of a unventilated environment. Luckily for me, my window is open. The instructions on the heating manual say to place it on a rock or something. So I have some Raisin Bran, 2 scoops that I'll lean this against. Ow, that is hot. Okay. Yes, you're included with my queer friends. Let me... put my cheese in there. We'll open the oatmeal cookie. You can kind of see the steam. Probably not. You can't see the steam billowing off of that, but it's steaming. It is steaming something fierce. Got my oatmeal cookie. Get that open. Look at that. Very kind of dense, very crusty, dry looking, very firm in the hand. It is not at all soft. It is not pliable at all. There's no sign of a oxygen absorber in here, so I guess it's completely sealed. Add that to the trash pile. I don't actually know if I have a trash bag. I'm trying to look for something I can use as a trash bag. Guess I'll just use my trash can. In an effort to try to negate some of this awful smell, I'm gonna open my window. Maybe that'll pick up, but gosh, that stinks. Ooh, that is some hot cheese spread. Let's crack open these vegetable crackers. No hiss. That's a shame. I kind of opened these wrong. You know what? I'm gonna get the scissors. I don't want to break these. If I can preserve the structure, you know I will. Because these things crumble very easily. But they're so vacuum packed that they almost perfectly keep shape. Look at that. You get 2 of them. 2 crackers. And they smell. I don't even know how to describe that. It is a smelly kind of smell, to be honest. They don't taste much of anything. So they don't taste as good as like the hype I've been giving them on their own. But that can't be all too bad. Gonna open up the cheese and just apply it to one of the crackers. Of course, still using my scissors. Oh, that looks delightful. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe this is a case against heating up the cheese. It's kind of oozing. The oil and the solidifiers have separated. You know what? I'm gonna go for a little. Yeah, don't do that. Oh, that's got a surprising kick to it. But man, does it taste awful. That is not what you want to do. Lesson learned. Do not, I say again, do not put the cheese spread in the heater. I'm going to raise that up. Camera. Spread it around a little bit. Does this make you look hungry? It's like congealed. And it's like sweaty. So that didn't work. Now this is not Bill's Brew. That is just my regular coffee for the breakfast. It's mochaccino. Instant coffee mixed with hot chocolate. Very yummy. I love cheese. I love cheese and women. I think women like cheese too. Not all women. But I think women have a tendency towards cheese. And I think that is an admirable thing. I love that women love cheese. And I love that women do not love cheese. Goes to show, goes to speak to the varying tastes of women. Congratulations, Fifi. You are a woman who loves cheese. Ooh, that is hot. That is hot, hot. We have apples pieces in spiced sauce, hot sauce, and I'm going to put it in here. I have 2 spoons. This is proof I've eaten these before. I have a collection of these spoons that I just eat from. Sort of a proof that I'm on the spectrum. That's what these look like. Your apple pieces in sauce. Spiced sauce. Juicy. Yummy. Have a taste? You know, that's quite nice. Sweet, but not too sweet. If anything, it's very, very nicely spiced. Cinnamon. Oh, I think I'm just going to start eating. So yeah, we got a nice cinnamon spice to it. It's not too congealed. It's a very nice sort of syrup. Very thick. Can't really see that. The apples have really kept their shape, their texture. Chewy, crunchy, just a bit of crunch. That's swell. That's delightful. I've dripped through to the bottom cracker. But we'll try this cheese now. And the cracker. zesty, sort of tangy kind of cheese flavor. The jalapeno really adds to it to make it very spicy. Gives it quite a kick. Not, crazy. It's certainly a white person kick, being that I am, of course, half. But no, it's tasty. It's tasty in the way that I think most people would not enjoy. That they would prefer to eat a real cheese, not an American cheese. Maybe they find this an affront to God in some way. But I find that to be quite. Mm. Mm. No, it's quite enjoyable. Can you taste the vegetable? Kind of. I can kind of taste the jalapeno. Certainly get some of the spice. The more you eat, the more spice there is. The more time you let it sort of sit in your mouth, it'll probably get a bit more spicy. No, yeah. No, I think it's good. The only problem is I did, of course, make that unfortunate decision to warm it up. You should not do that. I'll reiterate. You should not warm up the cheese. Mm. Something fell. Mmm. That was delicious. Now we have for you the main course. Oh, yes, Fifi? Find a place for that. Garbage. That's one of these things about MREs. They make a lot of waste. For better or worse. Probably worse. I think most people would agree that it's not a very good thing. I should stream Deltarune. And now that you've brought it up, I will. Here is the cheese pizza slice. I will remove it now and let you be the judge. Ta-da! This is the cheese pizza slice. And do not eat this. This is the absorbent, oxygen absorbent, or water absorbent. It's very soft, very pliable in the hand. It's certainly not melted at all. It does look like a rectangle pizza you get at school. The pepperoni comes in little flakes. I thought it would honestly be a bit more akin to an actual circle. The cheese is giving unmelted bagged cheese, bagged shredded cheese. It's and of course this up here is, do not confuse this with pepperoni. This is actually the tomato sauce. Let's have a little taste. Okay. It's like a hardened tomato sauce. It tastes like a tomato sauce, like a pizza sauce. All sorts of basil, oregano, all the classic ingredients for a sauce. It does look cold. I think it looks cold by way of it being like a Lunchable, in that you just kind of put everything on top and then kind of have it kind of just like that. Yeah, like, I don't know. But it's going in. Take a bite. Mm. Okay. Okay. That's I've had, now this is not a very high bar to cross. You know, it's not that some kind of miracle was made when I make this comparison. I've had pizza, or at least an approximation of pizza, from a vending machine that tasted better than this. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't taste bad. Not at all. Does not taste bad, per se. It tastes like like someone who's wearing the pizza's skin. It has the flavors. They come in like waves. Here's a little bit of cheese. Here's a little bit of pepperoni. Here's a little bit of sauce. Here's a little bit of the bread. And this is what the bread looks like on the bottom, as I try not to spill. But they really do have like, it doesn't build up to a complete whole so much as it really just exists as like individual items that are bundled together, and it tastes wrong because of that. Texturally, it does not get any help. It's I think what it is the bread. The ratio of toppings to bread is, of course, like with all pizza, almost 3 to 1, or 3 to 4 to 1, 3 to 1. I think 3 to 1's better. 2/3 of this are bread. That bread tastes shelf stable. It tastes kind of absorbent. It's almost like a sponge. It's spongy. It's cakey. I think it wouldn't be wrong to say that pizza should be a bit spongy. Pizza bread should be spongy, absorb the tomato sauce. But this one, it's spongy in the sense that it's trying not to absorb anything, which is by design, presumably. If you want it to be shelf stable, it should not at all absorb moisture that could lead to any form of molding, spoilage. But because of this, it's like eating, I can't even describe it. It's like eating a hacky sack. It's spongy in the mouth, it's chewy, but it does not absorb at all. So it emits its own flavor, like an excretion. You can taste the cheese. The cheese is nice. You can taste the pepperoni. The pepperoni is nice. You can taste the tomato sauce, and that too is very nice. But when it comes together with the massive portion of bread, it's very apparent that no, it does not come together all together quite nicely. I think there is a market for this for some people. Someone would enjoy this. Unfortunately, I am not that someone. And it is very unfortunate because I was hoping to like it. I was hoping to like it a lot. So that's sad. To address this, excuse me, I will be opening up the lemonade beverage base and drinking some of it. You thought this pack was peak? Is that to say that you've enjoyed it as it is, or that you thought it was going to be better? That's what I wonder. Just fill up a little bit. There you go. I'll give this a stir. Because my entire setup here is a mix of white light and very orange light and a white table, it makes it look like this is white as well. It's got a little bit of yellow to it. My initial reaction would imply that it was good. I'm a little let down by it. I don't hate it. I will eat it entirely. So the big thing with Pizza Slice is just that it's a fascinating concoction, perhaps. It's a fascinating attempt at making a shelf-stable pizza, because it was such a difficult thing for the U.S. to do for so long until they finally nailed it in 2018. Enough that they said, you know what, let's serve it. So it's one of these things that I've always wanted to try. It's different. One of the big things is that it is different. It's completely unlike most other ration meals. They usually come in these like pouches that you have to eat out of with your spoon, sort of thing. Okay, hold on. Let's try this lemonade. Oh my god. No, they weren't kidding. That is concentrated. That is sour. Must be that citric acid. Sour and sweet. Sugar-free. Sugar-free, believe it or not. That is full. It's probably... What is that? Acetic acid, potassium citrate, maltodextrin, and lemon juice powder. Aspartame, which is your sweetener. Calories, 5 calories. That is 5 calories. So, a low carbohydrate option for when you just need electrolytes. That's the significance of this part. You know, when you're running out, you're running, you're sweating, you're burning calories, and you need more specifically to regain those electrolytes that you've been spending. That is what this is for. So, you know, once you've sweated off all the salt in your body, you drink this to replenish it. Very kind of purely sweet. There's like not a hint, there's a little bit more than a hint of lemonade flavoring. It tastes like lemonade, a very sweetened lemonade, but it is not lemonade-y. Of course. It is lemonade-y. It's such an approximation that I almost don't have any sort of experience that can kind of relate this to. It tastes like a store-bought concentrated lemonade drink. Maybe you get a Brisk lemonade. Have you ever had Brisk lemonade? Maybe a Nestea lemonade in a bottle form? That's what that tastes like. Very sweet, very kind of harsh in flavor with the sour and the sweet, but ultimately you dilute it just enough, just to your taste. That could be kind of pleasant. Nothing like my preferred drink, which is the sports drinks from the IMP ration. But that is pretty pleasant. Yeah, if you dilute it too much, you lose that sweetness. And you get this sort of weird kind of artificial taste. Let's try more of this dessert. This spiced apples. I think this takes the cake. This is the best one. This is like apple pie filling. Literally apple pie filling. You open up an apple pie, if you're like me, and you don't like the crust in an apple pie, but you love the filling. That is what this is. That is what this is. Sweet, cinnamony, crunchy, good mouthfeel, not too gooey, especially when it was warm. It's not warm anymore, but when it was warm, that was so good. That is the winner. Even though I love, regardless of whether or not the cheese spread is like destroyed by way of heating it up, or if it's served properly on top of the cracker, this will be number 2. This is number 1 for me. But I say that without having eaten the cookie. So, I'm going to have a bite of this cookie, tell you how it is. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. That is a 300 calorie cookie. Crumble cookie. This is probably Crumble Cookie's court. Something spilled. I don't know what. There's my floor is dirty right now. But this cookie, dense, crumbly, you know, kind of surrounds the mouth very evenly. Very sweet, very spiced. It's more of that cinnamon spice. I'm gonna go look for the. Let's take a look at this ingredient list. Sugar, that makes itself very apparent. We have 18 grams of sugar in this 57 gram cookie. That is an enormous amount of sugar in this cookie. 15 grams of fat, 2 grams of dietary fiber, 38 grams of total carbohydrates. Over half of this cookie is in some way a sugar. This cookie, so going back to the whole candy component, the human body needs sugar. It is the gasoline of the body, if I'm not wrong. It is the most easily utilized ingredient to convert into energy for the human body. And for that reason, the dessert portion of the ration contains a lot of sugar, carbohydrates. You'll notice, of course, going back to the energy drink, the energy drink did not contain a lot of sugar. It had aspartame as a sweetener, 5 calories. The cookie is where that portion of the ration comes in, that sort of sweetness, that carbohydrate. And wow, you've got little bits of oat, the palm oil. So sweet, so energizing, so unlike the savory of the pizza and the cheese spread. Really, even if I don't like the pizza, my happiness in eating this ration is not at all reduced. I think, and this is me reaching, they understood that perhaps the pizza slice is not the most ideal component of this ration. Dry, thirst-provoking, chewy, sticks to the inside of your mouth. You have to fight to get it down your throat. Very unpleasant. But cookie. Bite into that. You chew. It crumbles in your mouth. It covers the entirety of your mouth with all sorts of sweetness, spices, comfort. It's a taste of back home. If I was eating this in the desert or in some snowy mountain, I'd be put at ease. I'd say, thank God I have this cookie. Yes, it took decades to develop the pizza, indeed, for it to be shelf-stable enough to be appealing, to last 3 years, sort of thing. But yeah, no, that pizza is awful. Can't stand that pizza. Let me, oh, even the cheese. The cheese, too, is very dry and crumbly. It doesn't taste like cheese. It tastes like the essence of cheese wrapped in flour that's been hardened, the way it crumbles away. Try this vegetable cracker. A little bit of shortening, a little bit of salt, Known to be very thirst provoking, very dry. But that's good. Not much in terms of flavor when it comes to vegetables, but it doesn't taste quite the same as the regular cracker. It's got a bit of crunch and a bit of chew, which I think is like the big thing. The crunch kind of giving way to a sort of softer inside. It's nothing like a ship's biscuit or hardtack of the days of yore. It probably isn't as crumbly or, you know, shortened as the biscuits of the MCI and K ration, but it's pleasant. Pleasant. Eat it with the cheese, makes it more pleasant. Get more mileage out of it. Dare I do this? Make myself some MRE apple pie. Try that. That's good. That is good. MRE apple pie. Your vegetable cracker, your any cracker, your spiced apples. Lay those spiced apples on top of the cracker. You get the crunch. It complements well the sort of softness of the apples themselves. You get a more enjoyable crunch in my mind. I've never really enjoyed the flakiness of a pie crust, but with this, you know, the cracker crunch mixed with this apple pie-esque filling really enhances the experience here. And of course, because it is so gooey in a way, it stays on fairly well. You don't have to like worry about it falling off. That's a 10. Maybe a 9. I'll give it a 9 only because the vegetable cracker flavor doesn't really pair well. The texture is there. The flavor is kind of lacking. You do get that like little bit more savory flavor. But I think that's actually really pleasant. If I had a regular cracker, I don't think it would be any better, but I think I would just enjoy that like matter-of-factly enjoy the flavor of regular cracker more. So, yeah, I'm going to set that down because I want to experiment with this, being that I still have so much more of this. Try the cookie instead, see how this goes. I feel like it's going to be overwhelming in sweetness, and it's going to be kind of uncomfortable with how much this cookie crumbles. Not bad. Not bad. Get a lot of, how do I say? You don't get a lot of the apple there because the crunch of that cookie is so overwhelming. Just spreads out everywhere. Little bits and bobs of it, little tastes here and there. Probably not the best thing to do. Probably better use of the cookie and the spiced apple. I'd say the cookie really stands out on its own, being very complete, very sweet, very satisfying. You know, if you have to stop for a moment, you know, you're on the march, stop for like a little meal, maybe some water, eat the cookie, collect some of your carbohydrates back to keep you going. It does have a bit of sodium, so you know you get a little bit of a, I'd say, in the middle of a march, big heavy pack on your back, you only have so much time to eat. Take your water bottle, take your beverage base, just pour it down there, close it up, shake it up, drink that for your electrolytes, and for your thirst, and then you eat your cookie. Quick and easy, crumbly, makes a mess, sure, but it's full of carbohydrates, full of everything you need to just keep your body going in the moment. It's not the kind of thing you go to bed with to, get some fat on you for later. Perfect on the march, perfect on the move. Wholesome, morale boosting, relieving, pleasant. And then the crackers make a perfect dessert with this spiced apple. And the pizza is the worst part of the component. I hate to say it. I was super excited for it. But the pizza really takes away from the whole thing. The more I eat it, the less I like it. The first bite was actually kind of okay. Now it's like a nasty kind of tangy sauce. It doesn't evoke pizza chain. The bread is like, I think I've nailed it down. The bread is more like an undercooked piece of bread that I've made before when I was trying to make my own like pizza dough or whatever. Very unappealing, dry, kind of like weird tasting. The thought of pizza in an MRE is very pleasant. The experience really has not been. Yeah, so I'm a little upset by that, but like I'm not that upset. I'm not eating these. I say. No, like for what it is, I'd be fine with it. I'd be fine giving this to a friend and being like, check this out. It's MRE pizza. And have them be really weirded out and disgusted by it. I think that's like, in my context, being that I did use the cheese. I'm affronted. I'm appalled. The pizza came with its own... Oh, whoa. Oh, okay, hello. I understand what you're saying. Took me a second. Pardon me. Should I have used the cheese on the pizza? Honestly, that's not a bad idea. The flavor of the cheese, being that it's spicy, being that it's jalapeno, could have added to it, plus the cheese flavor itself. Honestly, to mask the texture, or to mask the taste of the actual pizza itself, not a bad idea. I think you're onto something. If ever I go back and eat another one of these pizzas, I will heed that. I will use that to try to see how it makes it better or worse. Better or worse, truly. I think that's a good idea, Pokey. And I think in some way it would work. It wouldn't work totally. I think the bread will still be kind of weird, kind of nasty. And I feel like part of me is kind of pulling against that idea just because in my mind I want to save that cheese for the cracker. It's like what a lot of people say about lobster. They say that lobster is just a vessel for you to eat melted butter, to make it less taboo to eat melted butter, because surprisingly for some, melted butter is actually quite delicious. In that sense, I feel like, for me, these crackers are a means to eat the cheese. I would totally eat the cheese on its own, but I only put them on the crackers for the decorum. That is to say, I really like the cheese. So then, Perhaps I'll try that. Next chance I get, I will try that. I'll see how that goes. Eat some of these crumbs. So, I still have food on my plate. I'm going to end stream sooner than later. But I'm going to just investigate this last accessory pack. Show you what's in it. Because I know I did not go over that. Was it a filling meal? Yes, it was. And yes, it will be once I'm done with it. I think it was a very complete meal. The thing about the way I understand US MREs is that they are truly a meal. They are truly an individual preparation. With a Canadian IMP, I find its components can be sort of strung out over the course of a day to make it a pseudo 24-hour meal. 24-hour meal is the not euphemism, it's the description for a single package that contains enough food to last a day. 24 hours, just the parlance. But a meal ready to eat really is just, on its own, a meal. Candy, fruit, bread, spreadable, and entree with a couple drinks. If I had drank the Bill's Brew coffee, it would be very much more complete. So, yeah, I think, and the electrolytes. It is very well built. This meal, although I didn't like the pizza, was very well put together. All of the components are very cohesive. I think I like what I did. Having the cheese, so you get 2 crackers, having the cheese on one cracker, perhaps. Having half of this spiced apple, on the other cracker. So that's already so much diversity you can implement. You can have this on its own. Put it on a cracker. Put the cheese on a cracker. Put the cheese on the pizza slice. And then eat the oatmeal cookie on its own. Because the oatmeal cookie really does work very well on its own. The protein powder, you'll probably want to eat this for breakfast. If I were to chop this up into a sort of breakfast, lunch, and dinner in one meal, I'd probably eat the pizza first because the pizza is awful. But I probably wouldn't. I'd probably want to actually eat it for dinner. I'd start my day with this, the chocolate hazelnut protein, and the pizza. You know what? I'm going to go with the pizza. I'm going to solidify on the pizza. Pizza, chocolate hazelnut protein for breakfast. Lunch, oatmeal cookie, and the electrolyte base. So this will give me the protein I need for the rest of the day to keep my muscles strong as I exert, strain on them. This will give me some calories to start the day off with. As, the day's going along, I would want to eat this cookie to give myself a bunch of the carbohydrates I'm losing out on to help give quick energy to the muscles. And then as I've been sweating, drink this to, replenish my electrolytes. As I get into whatever our camp will be, if I get into a camp of some sort, I'm hoping that I'll have some moment to myself where I will prepare this, and I'll prepare the cheese spread. I'll have the cheese spread on cracker, have the apple on cracker, and then some of the apple left on its own. I'll probably prepare the coffee in the morning too, and then just drink some water, and that would turn this entire meal into a 24-hour ration. It wouldn't be very good. That is just not enough calories for someone exerting themselves. I would be, end of the day, very hungry. I would have probably already eaten everything by lunchtime and go to bed starving. But in an ideal world, that is what I would want to do. With that, I'll go right back to the accessory packet. So this is the accessory packet, empty. We have Bill's Brew, freeze-dried coffee, very good coffee. We have creamer, non-dairy, so dairy creamer, dry for coffee or tea, 4 grams net weight, dissolve in 1/3 of a canteen cup. This canteen cup, just so you know, is Belgian. It's slightly smaller than a US one. It's dated 1966. I don't know why, but in Canada, there's a lot of Belgian canteen cups and a lot of Belgian equipment. I guess Belgium was just getting rid of it, and a bunch of Canadian surplus stores saw it and said, hey, let's add it to our collection. We have 2 types of sweetener. We have sugar, and we have Splenda. Made in the USA, very sort of patriotic American flag behind the Splenda. The Enjoy brand sugar, made in New York. That's another thing. All of the stuff here has to be made in the US, from the plastic to the food. All of it has to be sourced in the US. I don't know if that's berry compliance. I think it is, but for it to be used by the US military, everything must come from the US. And this is a significant thing because in, I believe, the late 90s or early 2000s, there was a big push by some overall commanding general for the headdress of American soldiers to be the beret, particularly the black beret. And they wanted enough to be ready to have every service member wear them in time for a specific date. American production could not meet that requirement of, every service member wearing a black beret. So they ended up sourcing them from China, and that caused a fairly large controversy. You don't like berets? I don't blame you. I think berets have been misused over the last few years. I think they're like the pug of military headwear. Once they were so beautiful, billowing, massive, made a statement. Now they're like the foreskin of the fucking soldier's head. And they're awful. They're horribly shaped. They're like a borzoi with like the long snout, or a pug with the smashed in face. They're an abomination against nature. But that's just me. Maybe I'll talk about that later. Going back to the packet. This is the A packet. So, yes, you do, don't you? You have to shape it to your head and like rip it down so it just sticks to your skull like a skull cap. It just absorbs heat because it's all wool, or it's plastic, for better or worse. And you have to like, I'm reminded of some of the stories. You have to like shave it because it's kind of fuzzy to begin with. You have to like shave it down perfectly, but if you cut a hole in it, you're fucked. You have to get a new one. It's awful. It's awful. I can't stand to see service members wearing them. Please just get them peaked caps, get them Shakos, garrison caps, anything else, because you're not using berets properly. You're making them look terrible. You're making them completely, unfunctional. It's awful. I hate it. I think there's a photo of Patrick Tillman. Now, of course, he's wearing the tan beret. I don't know if he's special forces. I don't know if that means anything. But, like, I think that is the most acceptable that the modern beret can be. Because, like, I think it looks weird when it's all droopy like that, but he has it styled very nicely. Whereas, like, some other members will just have it literally just, like, their second skull is just there. I think he's done a good job with his, but I think for the most part, people can't do that level of shapeliness and beauty to the modern beret. If you look at old World War II photos of like British paratroopers berets, that is my ideal. If you look at a lot of photos of the original beret worn by Alpine troops of France during like World War I and prior to World War I, I think it's the Alpini, unless that's the Italians. Alpine French Alpine forces who wore berets. Because the beret is warm. Wool, warm, uh, covers the head, covers the neck from the sun, especially in those higher up climates. Beautiful. I'll briefly go over the last bit of the accessory packet. They come in A and B. A packet has coffee, B packet has jack shit. We have a moist towelette. We have some gum, unbranded, unnamed. Oh, Patrick Tillman. Let me put it in chat. Iodized salt. I don't know where you would use the iodized salt in this meal, but they don't really choose what you put in accessory packet A or B. And then last but not least, we have toilet paper. Canadian rations have very large, very absorbent, like hand towels, brown paper towels. They're very nice. I like them for that. We also have sporks, very elongated sporks. So maybe I'll show that off the next time I do this kind of thing. But yeah, I won't end it here, but I'll sort of sign off. Thank you for watching. This has been Peter Glass eating his lunch/breakfast in the form of an MRE. It was very pleasant. Although I didn't like the pizza, everything else really came together quite nicely. I think it's a very well balanced meal. There are more positives than there are negatives, so I would hope that whoever is issued this meal tends to enjoy it. I think this is a meal that has a lot of trade value. There are a lot of things that you can give to others in order to receive, in the sort of barter economy of MRE meals that exists, that I'm at least partially aware exists in some level. Yeah, in total, I think I would rate it a solid 9 out of 10. The only thing lacking was that pizza, but even still, like the fact that it is a pizza, that's a positive. All right, let's get this out onto a tray. Nice. Okay. Sometimes he says nice, all right. But yeah, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Can't really go wrong with it. This is also, I'll finish off by saying this is the last of this generation's MRE. In 2024, they changed a lot of menus. In 2023, towards the middle to end of the year, they changed the packaging. As I showed you before, the two different forms of packaging before the change. If I'm not wrong, I believe they haven't yet changed the menus. In 2024, they did change the menus. So that might mean that there are different components to this menu 23 pizza pepperoni slice. I can only hope that new menu would be better. And I think it's kind of sad that this would be the last of this version of the menu. I think it was very cohesive, very wonderful. It has a lot of flexibility, a lot of adventure to it, to be able to, change things up, eat things in different ways, and really kind of experience the whole ration in terrifically new lights. I think this meal, this ration is somewhat resistant to menu fatigue. There are some combinations that really kind of enhance the experience that were not, intended per se, or at least were not explicitly stated. There are components like the oatmeal cookie that are just terrific in terms of like flavor and experience. I feel like it would be very hard to part a person with their cookie. I can tell that my roommates are cooking some eggs right now. So, with that, thank you all again for coming here and watching. I will probably finish the rest of this, as soon as I turn this off. And I've enjoyed this. This was a bit of a struggle. This was a bit of an experience trying to set this up just to like stream it and make a funny thing of it. I'll try to put it on my YouTube channel as soon as I'm done. I'm gonna see if someone I like to watch is still streaming. They seem to be, so I'm gonna raid a VTuber that I watch a lot. You guys do not have to stick around, but just say if you're still here for the raid, could you just type into their chat MRE raid? I'll chat it here so you can copy paste. So, thank you again. We are going to raid quick, and I'm not going to give you much time. MRE raid help. MRE raid help. You type that. MRE raid help. Okay. Thank you all for watching again. Sayonara.